Here's Mully on the post-game show Sunday after the Warriors lost to the T-Wolves to lose their third straight game.
Steph's putting up dynamic numbers, MVP numbers. He needs his teammates to find their rhythm and their flow. To me, it's not just the starters or the subs. I think Steve Kerr has to look at sprinkling in a few different lineups, and not necessarily changing the starting lineup, but within the game, maybe getting some youth and athleticism around some of those vets.
That's Chris that's Chris Bullen talking about the lineups and maybe tinkering some. So not necessarily changing the starting lineup, but within the game, different combinations. Instead of going to hockey subs, right? They're going to the hockey sub where they bring in Sarge, CP3, Moody, like Kuminga. Yeah. Maybe you're sprinkling in here and there. All right, maybe here's CP3. All right, here's Sarge with CP3 and Steph.
If you split up Clay and Wiggins,
right?
All right, one of them is not starting the game. You split them up. Then who's the logical guy to play alongside? Does Clay play better with Kuminga or does Clay play better with Moody?
Here's the problem with any of that. You still have Draymond Green and Kevon Looney.
I'm splitting them up too.
And opposing teams are not respecting Draymond Green's offense enough, even though he's shooting 45% from the floor, from the three-point line so far this season. And his offense has not been a problem. Draymond Green has actually been really good offensively.
I kind of want him to keep shooting.
But maybe that's it. Maybe you split the bigs up. But then again, you go to a lineup with no rim protection. And then you have a backcourt that, again, at the point of attack, defensively, are getting blown by.
Well, right now you don't have any rim protection.
So do you just go all offense and say screw it?
I think you got to lean into your strengths. And I think right now, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. And so you have to give something up to get something. And
so
right
you
now,
go all offense, which I'm okay with. Maybe you have to do that. And you say
Monte,
punt defense.
I feel like I'm biting the bullet there. Yeah, I think I might have to.
Let's go to the line.
I'm looking at, I need to split up Clay and Wiggins. The two of them cannot be cold simultaneously. So I would try to maybe go Kuminga, Clay, CP3, Steph, and Dre, and then have Moody and Wiggins and whoever, Saric, all together out on the floor, or flip-flop it and start Wiggins with Moody and have Kuminga and Clay come off the bench. I don't know, but I'm thinking of splitting up the Clay Wiggins thing. That's just off the top. As well as Mooney.
So you're talking about inserting two new starters instead of one new starter.
I think you need some drastic changes.
Let's go to James in Sacramento.
I'm trying. I'm thinking out loud. It might not be right.
James in Sacramento, what's happening?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on the show.
Anytime.
So I hate to say this, but the solution to the Warriors' issues is not on the roster, and Steph Curry is putting up MVP-like numbers. It is time for this front office to go all in. One of the reasons they traded for CP was that he was on an expiring contract. They can move him again. They got to go star hunting. They got to package CP, Moody, Kuminga, all the first-round picks they got. They need to get Steph help. They got to go for championship now before Steph is gone. And one of the eyes I'm keeping my eye on is Siakam out in Toronto. They got to go get him. That's my thoughts.
So getting Siakam instantaneously puts them into the upper echelon of the league. I don't think
I understand your thought process here, James, but Siakam's not that guy to me. That's just my opinion. Right now, he's lost to Toronto. But go ahead, James, finish up.
Do you guys have any thoughts on who could be that guy? Because to me, you make that package. You get Curry, Clay, Wiggins, Dre, Siakam starting, Looney off the bench. That's a solid.
So who are you trading away? CP3?
Yeah, and why are we? And James, thanks for the call.
Well,
but
the first call is trades.
I feel very uncomfortable trading anybody through the first 11 games of the season.
Let's find
they were just
internal solutions.
Okay, they just lost it back-to-back. Kind of a schedule loss if you really keep it a buck.
The Minnesota one?
So here's the thing, and gamblers will know this. NBA, especially when it comes to betting on the NBA. And this, actually asked Festus about this and Mully about this off the record. What is it about a team going on a long road trip? Remember, the Warriors played 8 games in 8 different cities, and they finally come back home. Festus and Mully said, that first game back at home is always a struggle. Always. So Cleveland was better. I don't want to make any excuses. Cleveland was a better team on Saturday. But just as a gambler and then just listening to those guys, because I asked them the same question off the record, hey, what is it about that first game back at home after a long road trip? Yeah, it gets a little clunky. So you lose to Cleveland. Then you have a back-to-back against a younger team in Minnesota who had the day off and were chilling in the Bay Area. Hell, they may have had tickets to the game on Saturday. They may have watched Steph Curry in person, said, okay, we're at Chase Center. Let's get used to it, blah, blah, blah. You play it back-to-back. Let's see what happens tonight before we start making trades, all right? Let's see what happens. Let's not freak out 11 games into the season. That's what I don't want to get into.
I think that's why I'm just trying to look again. I might
know
be
it's
way
not
off.
you, but
no, I might be way off. I'm trying to find internal solutions, and that's why I'm like, right now, to me, Dre and Looney, I'd split them up, and then Clay and Wiggins, I'd split them up, and I just see what it looks like. And it might not be right. I don't know, but. And I think you got to also adjust some of the offense. I'm not saying go full pick and roll all season long.
It can't be all motion.
No, but integrate more of it, especially if you're going to, let's say in this hypothetical, Kuminga starts, right? Kuminga is better suited to run more pick and roll than he is this motion offense with Steph Curry. So that acclimates him a little better, and that gets
Steve
him.
Kerr do that?
What?
Will Steve Kerr do that?
Well,
because he hasn't gone away because he wouldn't go for it last year. Listen,
something's got to
I thought
give.
you could have maximized Jordan Poole and James Wiseman.
CP3's the greatest pick and roll player maybe ever.
Exactly, and I thought Jordan Poole could run a good pick and roll. Steve Kerr didn't do it last year. See, it's not in his DNA. He's going to stick to the script here.
But
I
would say this is like we all realize like coming out of the play-in game. You're not winning a championship that way. And if we're all about winning a championship, you have to first see if you can maximize your roster. And I'm looking at the greatest pick and roll player of all time. I need to cater more, not all of it, but more of it in his direction a little to accentuate his ability. He is a great player still.
Man, it does feel like when we get a loss, boy, we go, ooh, boy. It's like we lost a championship around here. We're 11 games in, folks. It's just before we start trading pieces away. Let's see how this plays out. Let's see how it plays out. Even Atco Pest Control's coming at me. Atco Pest Control, be cool. You got an online deal right now. I'm trying to get you some money here. Don't come at me. Come at the rats that are eating up these streets.
The rats on the table.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMG FM and HG1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. And don't forget, you can also watch us every single day on our YouTube and Twitch stream, sponsored by our very good friends at First NorCal Credit Union. Just log on and search 95.7 The Game. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you're there. Let's get back to the lines here. A lot of people want to talk some Dubs. Let's go to Doug in Berkeley. Doug in Berkeley. Long time no talk. What's happening, Doug?
Hey, guys. Good morning. How you doing?
Good, man.
How you doing?
Good. I'm doing well. You know, I think you guys hit on all the points, except one that we just never seem to talk about. Back in the day, early in Kerr's tenure here, we were younger, faster, and we could make up for our lack of size. We've always been too small. And it shows more now because the roster's older, and it shows up glaringly against bigger teams. Last two teams we played. But I think the guys have to work too hard to get the rebounds.
They do.
Taken away from the offensive game.
Yep.
Okay, and they're older now.
Mm-hmm.
So if we don't get some size, Clay's working too hard.
Yep.
To get the shot. We never talk about it, but we all know it, and I think that's really the problem.
Well, wouldn't you? God, I don't want to say start a rookie because that seems really aggressive and over the top. But I do think TDP needs to play more. He's got something. He's got a little more agility.
Well,
he's a thicker dude. He can move. He can get up and down the floor. Is he going to get in foul trouble? Of course he is. But I think an expanded role, and I'm not saying he's starting, but an expanded role for TDP would be something that I would encourage.
TDP, obviously, I know a lot of people complaining Sunday night about him. You do realize that he played a game Friday night in Santa Cruz in a home opener for the Sea Dogs.
And I don't love that.
And played Saturday.
Yeah.
So Steve Kerr and probably Dr. Rick Celebrini was not going to play him at a high level 3 straight games. The guy needed some time off.
Yeah, but after we've seen the first couple of weeks,
I hear you
personally,
but and
I get the development aspect. I don't need him in Santa Cruz right now.
But I'm just pointing out why he may not have played Sunday because he played in Santa Cruz Friday. Nah, I didn't love him playing in Santa Cruz Friday. You need him on a big league team, but I get what Kerr and company are doing. They're trying to get those guys acclimated and get them some run. If they're not going to play on the big league club, go down to Santa Cruz and get some run here. The whole misnomer, again, this whole thing about small ball. When the Warriors had Andre Iguodala and Kevin Durant, and even Harrison Barnes, they weren't really small.
Well, and Clay, this is the other secret sauce of the Splash Bros. Clay was a 6'6" dude guarding point guard.
6'7" guy guarding point guards.
Like
but they weren't really small. Kevin Durant has a wingspan that's over 7 feet.
I agree.
Andre Iguodala has a long wingspan. Draymond Green has a long wingspan. So as much as we thought it was small ball, they still were long, athletic, and quicker to the ball. Now you're going extra small, and you're a lot older. And you got Clay coming off of 2 major injuries. He's never going to be the same. Ever be the same. So just, it is what it is with Clay. We got to live with it. Unfortunately, we got to live with it. What do you want to do? You want to trade him already? Had a bad weekend. The first 9 games, everybody said, well, look at Clay sacrificing Clay's approach to the game. All of a sudden, we want to trade him after 2 games? Come on, people. Let's relax a little bit, please. Austin in the Bay. Austin, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Hey, nothing much. Hey, Vontae, hear me out. Look, we didn't trade Chris. We traded Jordan Poole for a reason. We didn't trade. We traded him for a reason, right? But we don't want Kuminga playing that role. I feel like we should, play him like Gary Payton, freelancing in the offense, bringing that energy and that defense like he was when he first came to the Warriors. We don't see that anymore. We just see him wanting the ball more and more, just like Jordan Poole. It's starting to get me irritated. And also, I think we should bring in Santos. I think he'll bring in another kick in the energy with that size and with that shot and with the ball handling and passing. But I just need Kuminga to play that Gary Payton role. We don't need him coming off screen, but we need, in the offense, that freelance role.
Guy Santos has, I don't even know. You tell me, has he suited up for a game?
No, he's on a 2-way deal. I like Guy Santos and his energy. Is he ready to play at a high level, the level that the Warriors want to play at? I don't have the answer to that. If he was able to play, trust me, Kerr would suit him up. These guys know what they're doing. They've hung 4 banners, right? It's not like they just woke up and learned a game of basketball yesterday.
Kerr's the highest percentage playoff coach in terms of winning percentage in the history of the NBA. He has the highest winning percentage in the history of the NBA.
So you got that. And then I also saw a take about Garuba, who's on the 2-week. Maybe we need to go see Garuba. Now we're let this thing play out, man. We're 3 straight losses, man. Whoa.
Would you start GP2 instead of maybe one of the rookie players in terms of, like, if you were to go CP3 and Steph, so now you're going to go CP3, Steph, I don't know, whatever combination, but throw GP2 out there. Is that, I mean, even though he plays bigger than his size, like, people are going to look at the depth chart and the heights and stuff, and they're going to, but he plays way bigger than that. Is that, like, to me, he's more of a 20-minute, somewhere in the middle of the game guy, maybe down the stretch. I don't know if I'm starting the game with him. What do you think?
I feel a little uncomfortable starting GP2, Chris Paul, and Steph Curry together. GP2 can pick it up full court at the point of attack. He'll make a ball handler's life miserable. But that's, what are you starting on the back end? Are you going Wiggins or Dre? Are you going Wiggins and Looney? Are you going Dre and Looney? I'm not sure if I'm with that lineup here. Maybe you just don't have the answers within this lineup. Maybe. But maybe what Chris Mullin said it. Maybe you tinker. You tinker with something here. Now, let's see how it plays out. Again, you're not going to figure out who a basketball team is the first 10 games of the season. You may not figure it out through the first 20 games of the season. Sometimes it takes you 30 games. Remember when the Boston Celtics advanced to the NBA Finals? They were 21-22 at one point. Had a players-only meeting, and then they went on a run and went through the Eastern Conference and took the Warriors to 6 games. So maybe you just don't know yet. It's a long season, folks. We're not out of November yet, but we do have issues, and we have size issues, as Sean in Oakland wants to talk about here on the roast. What's up, Sean?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Nothing much, man.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about this for like years now. Besides them winning that championship, and what was that? 21? They won that last championship or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But size always been an issue for us. And other times when we had Durant, at least we had like Prisbilla,
right,
and all these other long guys on the team.
Zaza Pachulia.
Yeah, Zaza Pachulia. Then other times won championships. We had, Zealy and David West and all these other cats. We had dogs back then. It's just like, it's hard right now. It's like everybody is gearing up to kill us in the size factor, from the Lakers to the Minnesota Timberwolves, all the way. Everybody's long and big, and so we gotta do something about this.
No doubt.
We can. So I don't know about. We can't start Chris Paul and Steph Curry at the same time. And that's even making us even smaller than whatever. And then putting GP.
The answer, Sean, because we got to run here. We got to squeeze one more call in before we get to break. The answer may not be on this roster because, again, at the point of attack, they can't keep anybody out the paint. All right? They're giving up points to the paint because your defense is getting collapsed left and right. All right? You don't have rim protection. Again, when you had the Zazas, the JaVale McGee's, the Festises, the Bogut's, the David West, even Kevin Durant, he was blocking shots at an alarming rate his first year with the Golden State Warriors. You don't have rim protection. So now dribble drive penetration is killing you, and they're going to the rim at will because, we don't respect their bigs because they're not blocking shots. So the answer may not even be on this roster. That may be the case by January. Last year, we touched on it. If Wiseman struggled and the youngsters struggled, well, you know what? They're going to have to reevaluate the situation in January, February. You know what they did? They moved Wiseman because he wasn't the answer. The same thing can happen this year, but you're not going to start making wholesale changes 11 games into the season. I just think that's ludicrous. I'm sorry. I think that's ludicrous to make wholesale changes outside of the roster. You got to see what you have within the roster, all right? And right now within the roster, you just may not be good enough. That may be that may be it. Father Time may have kicked this team in the ass. You may have just gotten old and you gotten slower, and now you can't stay in front of nobody and you can't create good shots. That may be the answer. But you're not going to make wholesale changes. This is not how pro sports works, folks. 3-game losing streak, you're not going to start trading everybody away.
Well, I mean, LeBron does trade all his team away, and
by February.
But they have like 8.
By February.
I know February. I know I'm teasing, but I'm just it was a joke. I'm saying what do you have 8 new teammates?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was that what it was?
I don't know.
Not 6.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But I think it's a little ridiculous. But you know what? They are struggling. And Wiggins does have to play better. He does.